Hey, g'day legends, it's your old mate Jimmy here from NFL Australia and of course Jim Does SuperCoach. And today we're continuing on our positional preview series. Today we're covering tight ends. That's right, it's a weird one when it comes to SuperCoach. We've got two tight ends out there on your classic field as part of your squad. And in terms of actual scoring, they're pretty bloody important. The interesting part of all this, there's not many of them to choose from that are any good, right? So when we talk about previewing this position, it's pretty straightforward. You've got three absolute elite tight end options for your SuperCoach squad. They're very obvious. They're very straightforward. They catch lots of balls. They're very good. Outside of that, it gets very thin on the ground. But there is a couple of interesting standout rookie names to keep an eye on as well for your bench. So let's start at the top. Now we hear who are the most high-priced tight ends that you should be looking at for your SuperCoach squad. What's the strategy you're going to be rolling with? Are you going bang to super high-end, top-priced tight ends? That's probably my approach as well, just because there's such a gap between those top three. And if you can afford to have two of them on the field, you're laughing. And if you try to middle this and get a mid-pricer out there, you might be leaving a lot of points on the table, I guess. So, right. Who is the most expensive? It's our man, George Kittle, a.k.a. Greg. I love George Kittle. He's awesome. The Niners offense as well this year makes it seem like he is absolutely primed for a huge season. And last year, he was really good as well, right? So last year, 94 targets, 78 receptions, still went for 1,100 yards. He had 8 touchdowns as well. And you think about the Niners offense this year, with questions around Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, it's basically George Kittle and Ricky Pearsall and very little else for that, especially for the pass catchers on that Niners team. So I do really like the upside for Kittle week on week because it feels like he's a touchdown monster. Every time that Niners team is going to get in the red zone, our man Brock Purdy is going to be looking for George Greg Kittle. It's going to be awesome. I think he was one of my first picked tight ends just because of that simple fact. Opportunity. And opportunity in SuperCoach is rolled gold, isn't it? So George Kittle went straight into my team. I like the positional opportunity. I like his point scoring ability. We know he's just going to get huge amounts of target share as well. 94 targets last year compared to the next two blokes is actually a little bit low. He played 2 less games as well, though. Keep that in mind. So at number 2, well, he scored 390 points last year as well and played 2 less games than Brock Bowers. So just saying, pretty good. Number 2, in your high-priced tight ends, in terms of price, we've got number 2, Trey McBride for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm believing in this Cardinals squad this year to take a little bit of a step forward. NFC West is always a really tough spot to play, but Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., you think about that Cardinals squad, they are primed and ready to look. If there's anything going on there, it has to happen this year, right? Jonathan Gannon could be out of a gig if it doesn't go right. McBride has been absolutely fantastic. You think about his year last year, he ended up 3rd overall in terms of SuperCoach scoring. In 16 games, he had 384 points. That's 6 behind Kittle, who did in 1 less game. And he had 147 targets, 111 receptions, and over 1,100 yards. The big problem, obviously, for Trey McBride was the touchdowns. He only had 2. If you expect a little bit more touchdown regression, he scores through the roof this year. He gets maybe doubles that, triples that, gets 6 touchdowns on the season. Not out of the scope of imagination, right? Trey McBride could go bang. Number 3, the big one, Brock Bowers. He looks like your high school woodwork teacher, that hairline. Jeez. But absolute target monster last year, set all sorts of records for rookie receiving, 1,194 yards in the end, 153 targets, 112 receptions, and he only had the 5 touchdowns. Again, it was kind of strange last year how these 2 young tight ends in Trey McBride and Brock Bowers were used in the red zone. I expect that to tick up a little bit as well. Geno Smith is going to love having Brock Bowers out there next to Jacoby Myers and Ashton Genty. Pete Carroll's like, you know what? I do love a big pass catcher. Off you go, son. Bowers has got the talent. Bowers can catch anything thrown his way. He's going to play heaps. And he is basically my second locked-in tight end. I've gone with a George Kittle, Brock Bowers tight end combo. I love that. I feel great about it just because of the sheer target volume, the touchdown ability, the yards. It's going to be massive. And remember, when it comes to SuperCoach, your scoring is about opportunity, yes, but also how many balls are you catching? How many receptions are you getting? It's PPR. Don't forget the SuperCoach scoring. So if you've got Bowers being targeted 153 times and having 112 receptions last year, 111 receptions last year for Trey McBride, out of these top three, you can't really go wrong because Kittle's touchdown scoring ability just puts him right up in this top echelon as well. I like the combination of Kittle and Brock Bowers just because who else is catching touchdowns on those teams? Just saying. Whereas Trey McBride might have a little bit more competition if they're running it in with James Conner or trying to get Marvin Harrison Jr. going. I don't know about Arizona. So there's your top three. I've gone with the Kittle-Bowers combo. I feel really good about that. Now, what about the rest of the top 10, Jim? How do you feel about them? And the answer is not very good. You've got names like Taysom Hill. He's listed on SuperCoach as a tight end. So he plays a little bit of tight end. He obviously plays backup quarterback. He does a little bit of everything. I have absolutely no idea how Kellen Moore is going to use him on that Saints offense. So we're just steering clear of Taysom Hill. Not going to bother with the 13 mil. The bloke who came fourth in tight end scoring last year on SuperCoach was Jonnu Smith. He's now on the Steelers. It kind of feels like the way that Arthur Smith's offenses go. He's the offensive coordinator there in Pittsburgh. I just don't trust him to jump into that top three spot. And the amount of coin that you're saving from someone like Bowers to Jonnu Smith is kind of negligible. He might work as a POD, but your POD is only any good if they're actually good. And if Aaron Rodgers is actually able to find him. He had 88 receptions last year, Jonnu Smith, 111 targets, great numbers, but at the same time, this is a new offense for him, a different situation. I'm steering clear. Mark Andrews, he's fifth last year in scoring, 315 total points. In terms of the actual overall pricing out here, he is sixth, of course, because you got Taysom Hill thrown up in there. Just feels like this is going to be much more of a timeshare in Baltimore between Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I actually don't mind if you are going to go with some sort of like combination setup where you're going to have like maybe you want to save a little bit of corner in your tight end spot. Isaiah Likely isn't too bad of an idea, and he's actually ranked 17th in terms of price on your tight end list. He's a little bit slippery for your SuperCoach Classic. 8.4 mil, not a bad idea there. I just don't trust Mark Andrews to A, stay upright, and B, keep the good times rolling on this Baltimore offense, which will be awesome, but I feel like Likely is going to get a lot more of the opportunity there, right? We are talking about opportunity. Number 7 in terms of the prices, it's David Njoku. They're on that Cleveland Browns team. We talked about the wide receiver section of the Jim Does SuperCoach shows. I just don't want any bar of any of the Browns. If we don't know who, like Joe Flacco, great. Dylan Gabriel, great. Shadur Sanders, like it is such an absolute barren wasteland at QB there in Cleveland. I don't want any part of that offense. Who knows what's going to happen with it? Not you, not me. I'm steering clear of David Njoku as well. At number 8, you got Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champs. He's pretty good, but he's also, look, priced pretty high, 10.8 mil. In terms of like last year, like Goedert, fine. It's also one of those things you go, we can probably just do better. If you want to spend a little bit less or a little bit more, you can probably steer clear of Dallas Goedert. Travis Kelce's at 9th. He just got engaged. You might have heard about that to someone famous. Really? Your shop teacher and was it your gym teacher and your English teacher are getting married? Great. Awesome. Great job, everybody. Kelce, he'll be fine. But for that 10.7 million outlay, I'm steering clear as well. What I do like, if in this tier of tight ends as well, Sam Laporta at 10.5 mil and Tucker Crafter at 9.9. Those two, if you are looking to save a little bit of cash and maybe go, look, I don't want to roll with two of the absolute top 3 best tight ends. They're probably the 2 next best in this price tier. Sam Laporta is going to get a lot of opportunity there in the Detroit Lions offense. And Tucker Kraft, that Green Bay Packer offense with Jordan Love, you know you got a bunch of receivers. No one knows who's going to be standing out, but we do know that Tucker Kraft is very, very good, and Jordan Love will look for him early and often. So those two, if you're going to go for that sort of like next tier down, I don't mind them in the top 10. If you're looking for some other names out there for maybe slightly cheaper options if you want to save some coin elsewhere, right? How about Evan Ingram? He's the 16th most pricey of the tight ends. He's at 8.6 mil. With that the Denver Broncos, with that Broncos offense behind Bo Nix, Ingram could go bang as well. Don't mind him as a cheapy option. And of course, we don't want to talk about Kyle Pitts, do we? Really? Do we? 8.3 mil. Is this the year for Kyle Pitts? Probably not. but it might be. I don't know. Michael Penix, maybe he just loves Kyle Pitts. Maybe they're just like, I don't know, really good mates. Outside of this, though, you've really got to dig deep and deep and deep to get to your cheapies for your bench. Jake Ferguson's not a bad one for the Dallas Cowboys. He's at 6.1 mil, the 33rd highest priced of your tight ends. But then, of course, the big ones for your bench. Who are we looking at for rookies, Jim? Well, we're looking at Colston Loveland, the Chicago Bears rookie tight end. First round pick, 4.5 mil. And of course, the same thing goes to Tyler Warren for the Indianapolis Colts, 4.5 mil. I've gone with Tyler Warren because the opportunity is right there. We know that Danny Dimes is the QB in Indianapolis. I feel like Tyler Warren, there is so much talent there. He's going to get probably a little bit more opportunity than Colston Loveland. It's going to be a lot of mouths to feed, I think, on that Bears offense. So give me Tyler Warren. I'm going to start him on my bench. And outside of that, I mean, you've got Dawson Knox at 4 mil for the Buffalo Bills. If you kind of think that Josh Allen's going to be looking for his big dudes, but that's a bit of a timeshare too. So I'm going to stick with Tyler Warren. Colston Loveland's not a bad option as well in that Ben Johnson offense. We saw him use his tight ends plenty in Detroit. I just feel like I want to sort of see the first couple of weeks and how that Bears offense actually looks before I get Loveland on my bench. I'd rather go with Warren right now. So the way that my tight ends are rolling out, pretty simply, even though George Kittle is priced at the absolute peak of your tight end prices here, it feels like it's warranted. He's going to get so much opportunity to be basically their like wide receiver one. Because yes, Ricky Pearsall is great. Ricky Pearsall is also pretty unproven. George Kittle and Brock Purdy, a match made in heaven. And the same thing goes to Brock Bowers. He was incredible last year. But if you're going to go with Trey McBride and Brock Bowers and go with the super young dudes, I can't argue with that. So I'm going to go with George Kittle in my tight end 1, Brock Bowers at tight end 2, Tyler Warren on my bench. Let me know who you're going to roll with. It's going to be awesome. We're going to break all this down on NFL Australia as well this week, so get right around it. Make sure you subscribe to this show on your podcast apps and on YouTube. Get all around NFL Australia and Jim Does SuperCoach for more chat all the way through this season. It's going to be awesome. So remember, let me know who you've got. Let me know what you reckon, because this is Jim Does SuperCoach.